The meeting on.
We got to use it.
I finally used it. Okay, start with roll call, please.
Mark Cole,
Here. Here.
Kim Kowalski,
Here.
Monte Montalbano.
Here.
Ross Bourgeois,
Here.
Julie Singing,
Here.
Garrett Ricky,
Here.
Laura Feeney. Here. Jason Hanneman,
Here.
Erica Dorsey. Yes.
We'll have a moment of silence.
To pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I understand we had no request to address the commission on items on the agenda.
Correct.
We'll move on to the business items. Do we have any motions relative to item number one?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to move the election of officers to the end of the agenda, please.
Second. Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, the agenda has been amended to move that to the last item on the agenda immediately prior to the adjournment. Second item on the agenda is consideration of meeting minutes from December 12, 2024. Do we have any motions?
So moved.
Moved to
Second.
moved and second to approve the meetings as minutes as submitted. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Third item on the agenda is consideration of the request from the Office of State Police to establish a new LSP Trooper WAE position to serve as historian, museum curator, and maintain the Louisiana State Police Museum at the Louisiana State Police Training Academy, effective January 9, 2025 through September 30, 2025. I understand we have a representative here. Colonel, speak to that issue. Morning, Colonel. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members.
I'm gonna get unaccustomed to being called that.
I guess for the record, I've been advised I need to always, like, as y'all have seen over the past week or so, due to all the events, they ask me, please state your name and who you represent. Colonel Robert Hodges, Louisiana State Police Superintendent. I'm here today to discuss consideration for LSP, WA Trooper, historian, museum curator. Louisiana State Police has a rich history which dates back from actually 1922. As many of you all know, in 1936, the two divisions formed to become Louisiana State Police, to form a more modern, well-equipped, and well-trained force who was led by Brigadier General Lewis F. Here. Over the last almost 89 years, Louisiana State Police has evolved as one of the premier law enforcement agencies in the country, with extensive patrol, investigative, intelligence, and support capabilities. The new position of historian, museum curator, will allow Louisiana State Police to develop and maintain a Louisiana State Police Museum at the Training Academy in Baton Rouge to properly catalog, document, display, maintain decades of historical items. The position will allow LSP to leverage the expertise of a retired trooper who has extensive experience and firsthand knowledge of the department's history, culture, and significant events to share state police's history and evolution with our communities, schools, and visitors. And of course, our cadets as they pass through the academy. As a sworn officer, they can access restricted areas and documents that civilians cannot, ensuring comprehensive documentation of our history. The incumbent would additionally safeguard historical handguns, rifles, and other sensitive law enforcement equipment used throughout the years. This incumbent would also be responsible for cataloging significant state police events and accomplishments on video and photographs, which may require sensitive and confidential information and interviews of personnel when determining what to include in the museum. It's imperative that our department honor and preserve the accomplishments and hard work of the men and women who came before us. I ask for your consideration of a WA trooper as museum curator and LSP historian.
You have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I have an observation and a question.
Certainly.
I'll start with the observation. I think it's a great initiative. The culture of an organization really depends on the stories that endure the people. So when the stories are sustained and maintained and told, I think that's a great thing for an enduring culture there. My question is, you've really combined sort of three things: the experience of the trooper with the skill and training of a historian with the skill and training of a museum curator. So what thought has been given to the training that this individual is going to get in the job, and any relationships that the individual might have with Louisiana civil service people that are in the same country?
So great question. Fortunately, in Louisiana, we have the World War II Museum. So what a great example and template to mirror off of. Not that we're proposing the Louisiana State Police have something as grand and as divine as what's in New Orleans. However, to ensure best practices, we have already, our operation development section reached out as we normally do. We looked at the southern states, we looked across the country, because there's 22 state police agencies and the other 27 states are a Highway Patrol and Bureau of Investigation. Of course, Hawaii is working on forming their Department of Public Safety. But we reached out to them, found out the specific rules. So if approved today, our next step would be in the future to have the legislature approve funding and then, of course, training. And then this incumbent would also be a member of those respective associations, which include other state police agencies, to make sure that we're providing not only best practice, but consistent with what already exists. And to your point, General, to ensure that we are at that level. This person would not only be a retired trooper, because you have to be to be selected as WA trooper, but they'll be very educated with extensive experience, not only on our job, but formal education and training, and would satisfy those things that you pointed out, to ensure that not only we have best practices, but we're just not putting someone in here who's just come up with a few ideas, but someone that's long had this on their mind. More importantly, someone that shares the same vision that we share in this room and that the men and women of state police have for the last almost 89 years.
Any other questions? I guess a couple of questions that I have for you is, as you know, the WAE category, we've always looked at as a temporary fill the gap while we're trying to develop and increase the number of active classified troopers. This doesn't sound like that. This kind of falls in. This sounds more like a permanent situation.
Well, good question. So to start, a WA trooper, and then in long term, we know that through civil service, you can come back as a criminal investigator, and we're going to look to go through the civil service process, which is a lot more extensive. But we would certainly want someone who's a former commissioned trooper to be in that role. So I know WAE is created for a short term, and we think in the future, maybe we could grow it to a permanent position. But to get us started, remember, ladies and gentlemen, next year is a state in 2026 is the state police 90th anniversary. This year we host a historic Super Bowl. We have Carnival. Obviously, we had a tragedy with the Bourbon Street terrorist attack. Those are things that cannot be lost, not only in remembering those who lost their lives and were injured, but the training and the information that needs to be passed on to our troopers. So this is something I've been thinking about for over a year, since I was, yesterday made 1 year as superintendent under the new administration. But you look back, Mr. Chairman, you think, how did we not have someone doing this already? And you need someone with years of experience, knowledge, contacts, formal education. And the WAE trooper is a bridge to get us to, maybe we create it to a permanent position, or to get us where we need to be for short term, which I believe was what the WAE was always created for. This will facilitate that for the agency.
So I just want to make sure I'm understanding your answer to my question. So am I hearing you saying that basically this is to be temporary and long-term, you're looking more towards a civil service position?
That's or a state police commission position. Yes, sir. Either or. The key is you don't want to put a young trooper in that position. They don't have experiences to speak to. More importantly, you need someone with decades of experience. And that is the applicant pool that we will be looking at to fill the position.
Well, thank you.
Yes, sir. Is there anyone else?
Any other questions or discussion? Do you have any motions?
I make the motion.
The motion is,
Except with the current move and, for the position, even though it's could be temporary for a while and might be a trooper later, but, if it's necessary, we need to do.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion now that we have a motion on the table? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Congratulations. The ayes
Thank you
have
so
it.
much. I have to
Let's get it.
depart for multiple events down in the city. So I just thank you all for your time and approval today.
I look forward to visiting this museum.
Yes, sir. So just for the record, presently right now in our training academy, we have some glass cases and some history with the old motorcycle, some old vehicles. Many of y'all visited and seen that. Our goal is to expand and elevate that, starting small, being a good steward of the state's budget, working within our current parameters, but really cataloging and capturing that as we build up to our 90-year anniversary on July 28th, 2026, which is about 18 months away. So we're gonna look to do a yearbook, obviously possibly a badge to commemorate the 90 years, as well as a coin. Just, it's a lot of things that we want to make sure that we capture and do, but we're starting small, and we invite everyone on the commission to visit even what we have now. I think it looks pretty good, but we understand it. After traveling the country and seeing other state police agencies, I realize we're just a little behind. And but more importantly, I just want to leave y'all with this: the education portion for our men and women, the next generation, that they understand that history and that we learn from those lessons. So thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda would be the director's report.
Chairman, a few items on my director's report. First of is the fiscal year 25 expenditures to date behind the director's report tab in your binders. We are on track and well with our finances. Any questions regarding the expenditure? There being none, we move on to the promotional exam. Just wanted to advise that the May 2025 promotional exam is coming up. We are working on the application process for that, and we'll be issuing notice in the coming weeks. Participation in the exam is optional, and as for the valid score, may retain it. All those that choose to retake the exam will retain their highest score, all in accordance with revised Chapter 7 rules. Any questions about the upcoming exam? Also, our next meeting, I want to make you aware, is scheduled for February 13th, 2025. An appeal hearing is scheduled on the agenda, and so therefore the meeting will begin at 9 a.m., not our customary 10 a.m. And the last item, but not least, Chairman Timmy, on behalf of your fellow commissioners and the staff of the State Police Commission, we extend our deepest gratitude and sincere appreciation for your dedicated service to over 8.5 years as a member of this commission, including more than 7 years as its chairman. Your leadership, vision, and unwavering commitment have been instrumental in advancing the mission of the State Police Commission and ensuring its continued success. Your tenure has been marked by integrity, thoughtful decision-making, and enduring dedication to public service. As you step down from this role, we wish you every success and fulfillment in your future endeavors. And this plaque is a token of our gratitude for your remarkable service. And we hope that it's a lasting reminder of the legacy of excellence you leave behind.
Thank you.
That concludes my director's report.
I understand we have a request from Billy Broussard to address an item not on the agenda, and that is an upcoming investigation.
The upcoming first. My name is Billy Broussard. I say upcoming investigation. We all know the governor has, I'm gonna read some of this off what I have here. The governor has issued a state of emergency in response to the terrorist attacks in New Orleans. And we all know.
Speak up a little bit. Yeah, bring the mic.
I said, we're all aware that the governor's issued a state of emergency in response to the terrorist attacks in New Orleans. And more often than not, state police is involved in these investigations. And if investigations don't go right, somebody makes a complaint, the colonel may, take some sort of action. If not, it comes to y'all, maybe for y'all to review. So in saying that, I had a couple of things I'd like to read out just for y'all, just because I've been in circumstances involving if not, not a terrorist attack, but when major disasters, just to say. So I'd just like to read a couple things that I have here. First of all, we're aware of the governor. We're also aware that the AG has also ordered security review by the Louisiana Bureau of Investigation. It's also all over Fox News, where the question is, were neglect security measures to blame for the disaster massacres in New Orleans? I mean, they have guys from Fox News going over there, going to barricades and just pushing them over like they're ashtrays, not even barriers to block vehicles, etc. And I will say any government agency participating in a state of emergency and or disaster should remember that constituents and or elected officials that represent these constituents may demand answers after the fact. And we're all aware that the president is not afraid to definitely call out issues just like what's going on in the fires in California. It's pointing out that the blame may be the governor's fault in regards to what's going on over there. Not saying that he's gonna blame the governor for what's going on over here, but just to say the president does give his point of view, what his thoughts are. And I will say, remember the fact that the cover-up is worse than the crime. I have been involved in cleanup behind disasters. And I've also seen investigations done after disasters, and I have witnessed and where a district attorney led state police not to document certain evidence after it was determined that evidence in the original state police reports were misleading. Investigations done by state police should not be controlled by district attorneys, judges, attorneys representing government agencies, etc. And if these powers to be due, it should be documented in their reports. We have to face the fact that after these investigations, it's often determined that it's neglect most of the time by someone that didn't do their duties. And also in cases like this is often the district attorney's office represents these government bodies that are being investigated in the first place. And I've seen where you have a district attorney representing these government bodies, and then state police will go ask that district attorney for advice how to do their investigation, what to look at, what not to look at. And that creates a conflict of interest. So if we have like what's going on in New Orleans, this terrorist attack, if they send state police or whoever to go do an investigation, say, well, go talk to their attorneys first, ask them their advice and get some direction for them how to handle the investigation. And I've seen it where they'll tell them, don't document this. Even knowing that previous information that may have been provided was determined to be misleading, they still refuse to supplement the reports. Last, I will say, we need to hold accountable any person participating in a cover-up in any way, every level of government, pertaining to any emergency and or major disaster declarations like the terrorist attacks in New Orleans. That's all I have to say. I appreciate y'all time.
Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you.
At this point, we'll move to item number 1 in the business items, election of officers per State Police Commission Rule 2.1B.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would like to nominate Monty Montalago as the chairman and Ross Bourgeois as vice chairman, effective at the end of this meeting.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Or any alternative nominations? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. That takes us to the point of adjournment. For those of you who were not here at the last meeting, I announced my resignation from the State Police Commission because of the numerous other commitments that I have. And I believe that my community, I consider the position on the State Police Commission extremely important, one that means a lot to me. I barely held it together when Jason was up there saying all those beautiful things, some of which may be true about me. But I just feel like with my commitments that I have to my church right now and the things that I'm doing, the orders that I'm getting from my bishop and all the things he wants me to do and a pastor, that I need to spend more time on those things. And there's only a certain amount of time in the day. And so I felt compelled that I should step down from my position here. It is not because I have taken it lightly. In fact, I have thoroughly enjoyed the time and the people that I've worked with. Sometimes we have to deal with tough issues, but that's what this is about anyway. I knew that when I signed up for it, and but I think the time has come. I have come to know the people who are currently serving, who have served on this commission, many of whom very good people, very dedicated. The people who are currently serving on it, and they are committed and dedicated individuals. So I know the future looks bright for both this commission and for state police, and most importantly for the people of Louisiana, as long as we continue working together to improve state police and make it a better organization. And that's not meant as a criticism, but every organization can get better, a better organization to serve our people. And so I want to thank y'all. I want to thank y'all for the opportunity to have served. And I'll leave here with some very good lasting memories. But this is my last meeting because the timing is such that my resignation will be effective prior to the next meeting. So I just wanted to make that statement. With that being said, unless there is an objection, I will call the meeting adjourned. Hearing none, we are now adjourned. May as well use it one last time.